All right, hello, my name is Andrew Thompson. This is Rick Paris, Elizabeth Jackson. Welcome to Conscious Reality Creator. Today we're talking about intimacy. And we're talking about intimacy in terms of a process. We just did a video last week that we posted about intimacy, so if you want to check that out, there's a link up above that you can go to. We'll also link it in the description box below. So, we're going through a process of intimacy, and intimacy is, this process is new to me. Go ahead.
I just want to say, just to be clear, every single thing in physical reality is a process. Yeah. It's not like, oh, you had to do this process of intimacy, huh? No, everything is a process. It's figuring out what is the process so I can duplicate the result. That's what's nice about understanding a process is now it's not hit or miss anymore if I'm intimate or not. And where am I not intimate? Mm-hmm. Right there is where I have the problem. It's like now, again, it's like in the meditation video, it's like you have to have a place to start in order to know how you're doing. If I don't come from an adult or if I don't come from a situation that I've already taken responsibility from meditatively, I don't have a place to judge how I'm doing anymore, right? Mm-hmm. So intimacy is like, what is intimacy if I don't know the process?
Right.
Now there's a process to trust. There's a process to intimacy. There's a process. Everything is a process.
And what I love, now that you triggered my mind, he did say it in the video, but it's like I want to repeat it. If you're not trusting, look at the position prior, vulnerably honest. Because so many people will just be like, I'm just not very trusting. I have trust problems. I got problems. I'm trust. And it's like almost a badge of honor. I've got trust problems. And it's like, oh my God, what a boring story. Everybody could fucking have a trust problem, right? Because people fucking have had a life. But, like, move on. Be an adult. Where you're losing it is vulnerably honest. You have the power and the choice point to be vulnerably honest, and if you do that, you will move into trusting, right?
Well, I think everyone's going to have their own space, right? But what you're saying is where a lot of people struggle with is the trust, is the vulnerably honest, because it's one of the most scary places in intimacy.
And I almost feel like the real problem is trust.
Yeah, because you're not trusting yourself.
Because if you could be vulnerably honest, you're going to trust yourself. You're going to feel pretty rad. I mean, am I saying it correctly? Because what you're saying is if you're having a problem with a number, look at what precedes it.
Well, also, look at what after. You look at the fulcrum and what's preceded. If I can't trust, the problem is with honorably and vulnerably honest. I'm not honest. And the thing is, since I'm not honest, I'm just assuming everybody else isn't honest. Because we don't all just say everything that's on our mind. Mm-hmm, I don't. And then what's the liberators in 5? It's like, in 5, it's like love. I have to love myself enough, and I have to love the other one, and I have to love intimacy that I'm willing to do it anyway, right? Mm-hmm. Because without the love, you're not going to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Why am I going to be vulnerable if I don't feel any love?
Yeah.
Which explains, again, it's never linear. Because I like to get all linear, but it's like, no, you're always like, no, they're all spinning. They're like synergistically working.
Well, if you don't...
an octave of sound.
If you don't start the process of intimacy loving, how are you ever going to even be able to get to the step of being loving?
Well, when it comes to trust, specifically. But yeah, love, of course. Love's behind everything. But I mean, when it comes to the bull and intimacy... the fourth position is the most determined, and if that position is having a problem, which because in any process the fourth position is always the most determined position, if that position is having a problem, since it's the most willful, right, you always back up and go, what's step 3? Step 3 is going to tell me what's lacking, why am I not able to do, and what's going to free me is in step 5. The 5th step is going to give me how to trust better.
Yeah,
there's a triangle. There's a triangle there that you're basically before 5 and 6 makes a triangulation.
You mean the 5th step is loving, right?
Right.
So,
5th step is loving.
So the more times I run this through, the deeper it'll always get. My trust will grow. Being vulnerably honest will be easier. It's not going to be so intense. So, because that's the way it's been for me a bit, is being vulnerably honest. Talking with you guys, I've told you guys everything about me. But the vulnerable, honest part that I hold myself back is if I'm going to confront anybody with anything.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like in a relationship, if it's going to be confronted because you did something that I didn't appreciate and it triggered me and I feel like I have, some anger or something came up with it.
The fact that you're using the word confront, I used to say that. Remember, I'd be like, I need to confront Jonathan. And you're like, what are you confronting? You're actually being direct and honest. So it's a good catch. I remember he would tell that to me because I'd always be like, oh, I'm so afraid of conflict. I'm so afraid of confrontation. He's like, what confrontation? You have something on your mind and you want to say it, and you're not trying to do anything, but you want to be direct and honest in your experience in life, to be powerful, to be free, to be anyways.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's good and all, but I also, at the same time, when you're taking these steps, you're going to be hit with things. You're going to be hit with some of those things, and so that's the other thing I want to say.
Until you understand
exactly,
not to be.
until you keep going through it. But
Right.
that's the other thing I'd say too, for my own experience as I've been going through, even beyond intimacy, but just conscious reality creation and learning from all this stuff, is I realized for myself recently, because I'm the type to push, and I'm gonna like push myself, and a lot of the time I'm up against the edge of what I believe is real and possible for me, and I'm just banging against that wall. And I think a lot of people do this. A lot of people really pushing. It's coming out of a place of, I want to get out of there, but not actually creating what I want. And so in those
the
moments,
push is not coming from a positive place.
Exactly, but the point is, what I'm making is to take it easy as well. You want to be willful and you want to go for what you want, but you got to also know, and as I'm saying this, I'm saying it to myself as well, that I'm stepping into a space I've never been. To do intimacy in this way is a space that I've never really been. To understand trust, and we're going to do a video on trust probably next week after. To understand that and expand that, that's another space that I only know what trust is to me, and it feels like it's like kind of just being courageous. I'm going to trust myself, but I don't really know the rooted feeling of what it is to really fully trust myself in every decision that I make and have that solid, feeling inside. And so intimacy, it's the same thing. It's more close. In the past, has been more closeness for me. I feel close or open, but the steps beyond that to make it conscious all the way to privacy, it's new. It's exciting because it feels like, I can make some amazing relationships and do something I've never done before. But at the same time, I feel scared. I feel at times like, oh my God, this is kind of scary to do this because it's a new space. Conscious reality creation, to take the responsibility in this way, it's a completely new space for you. So as you're doing it with any of the spiritual things you're doing in your life, just know that you're creating something new. So take it easy. Give yourself the space to relax and be like, okay, I didn't do it perfectly. And that's something I'm really, really learning. And these two right here are helping me tremendously with that, to really give myself that love. So am I going off? You gave a look.
No,
what happened?
no, I just smiled. You two are helping me tremendously. I just smiled at her.
You have good energy right now.
Okay.
But I wanted to interrupt because I had a thought.
Okay,
I want to keep it. I was also going to say about the honesty because
I was only asking in case you caught something.
I don't remember what you called it, but for instance, this vulnerably honest thing, you also want to be honest about what your honesty is. I'm so fucking open. I'll tell everybody everything about me. I don't have a privacy thing I need to hide this. And in a way, that was actually a tactic that I would use.
Yeah.
What was I doing with that? Because it's I'll meet somebody and it's actually a way of deflecting real truth, because I don't have these secrets. Some people I don't want to share that. I'll share anything. And so I held it as this badge, I'm just so honest. But I wasn't honest. What was I doing? Because I would just tell people everything about me. And that's not vulnerably honest either.
Can I describe something I just listened to?
Yeah.
So I was just listening to this thing from Lazarus, and he was talking about that specifically. He said, people who will fling it at everyone, who will go out and just be, I'm honest, and here I am, and I'm open. What you're doing is baiting them to betray your honesty, so that you will know. And this might not be to you, but this is what I think a lot of people do.
I am baiting them, but not
You're
for that.
baiting them because what you're expecting, the expectation is they'll betray my trust, and I don't have to be open, and I'll have a reason to no longer be intimate with this person because, see, I fucking knew it.
Okay.
They didn't hand up their side of it.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, and here I am.
Yeah.
But it's all expecting that they're not going to hold up their side, so therefore I don't actually ever have to be open.
I'm pretty sure that is 100% an archetype. I know for sure that wasn't me. I'm not baiting like that. But it's what I'm doing is remember when we talked about this in my program? What was I doing? It's my way of mimicking intimacy, because I think by doing this, right? But really, it's my way of not getting close.
Yeah.
Because you're taking this illusion, so often people are like, wow, you're just so open, thank you. Then they feel close to me because I'm a 2 on the Enneagram. And so that was me in a kind of covert way, creating false intimacy, because it's not intimacy just to share secrets about yourself. Intimacy is these steps. And just when I tell everybody all my life story, I'm not in intimacy.
Well, it's like you're talking lately. You're I realize I can't talk to my parents about all this stuff.
Yeah.
Not because I'm not willing to share anything else.
I don't want to.
What do they do with it?
Yeah.
what they're doing with it is trying to make me look like I'm not doing something right.
Yeah.
Or, so it's like you're not withholding information because it's a secret, or it's because you respect it and you appreciate it and you love who you are, and why is someone going to poo-poo on who I am?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell you. At the same time, it's a slippery slope, because you could also be like, well, you could say that, but that's not what you're doing. It's like I could say, well, I'm not giving it to you because you're going to poo-poo on me, which is manipulation. It's like, well, if you're nice enough, then I'll tell you everything.
Yeah.
Because you're not being perfect.
Yeah, I know people that do that.
Exactly.
Well, I think it's also learning to be discerning on who you're going to be intimate with.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you have to be discerning who you're going to be
and
intimate
especially
with.
I think that's true for the step of vulnerability, because vulnerability is really you're opening up your vulnerability to someone. It's like almost if I was an animal, out in the prairie, it'd almost be like me showing my underbelly. And so I'm letting you know where I'm vulnerable. I'm letting you and you see me, because I trust you enough that you're not going to hurt. You're not going to take advantage of my vulnerability. You're not going to hurt me in that way. And so
you're being vulnerable with it, but they could, but you're pretty sure they won't.
Oh yeah, the point I was making is being discerning on who you're building intimacy with. You're not just going and being honest with everybody and telling everybody your full life secrets and all the different things, the things that you want to hold private. The reason you're holding it private is because it's important to you and it's something you're working on. And so when you share that with someone, you're saying, I choose you to be significant in my life. I choose you to be someone who's important to me. So in this space, I'm willing to share that with you and build that trust.
To be more vulnerable is you have to give them the ammo to destroy you.
Yeah.
Because really, if I'm trusting, I'm expecting that you're going to do the right thing. I'm expecting that we're going to get close. That's why in that whole trusting, I'm saying the positives have to be, the negative has to be greater than the positive, right? Like, I could tell you this. If I don't tell you, no big deal. You don't know. But if I tell you, you could totally screw me now.
Yeah.
That's trust.
Yeah.
Right? That's got to be there. It's not an issue of trust. But it's like that. You give that to the people. That's why, even on TV, you always see the woman's trying to get secrets out of the guy, he's like the warden of the prison, and they only tell each other on the side because they're building intimacy, but she's betraying.
Right.
They're betraying him, and the thing is, that's it. The person you're close to is gonna find out all your dark secrets if you're being intimate, but if you pick the wrong person and they betray you, it's like you still, even if that all happens, you still understood more about being intimate. Yeah. You still learned from it, even though you got burned.
No, and that's funny too, because it's like a cycle, right? If you're choosing to be intimate with you, and I'm choosing to be intimate with you, and you likewise back to me, we're following the steps, and so it creates a loop between us, right? And this way I'm seeing it, this way I'm actually starting to feel it. It's like a feedback loop of intimacy. It's like taking a microphone, and you take it to the speaker it's plugged into, and you start moving it towards, and the tone goes whoop. You get that feedback, and the closer you get, it's going to go whoop. It's going to raise in magnitude. So what I've noticed for me is I'll start to do that. It'll be like the intimacy will build, but it gets to a certain magnitude, whoop, and you want to pull away. And so
because it's going to get magical.
Right. But the idea is to also take steps in intimacy, right, too, because if I just, and this is what I used to do also, is like I've done this with Liz in the past, is I'm going to reveal my secrets. And then it's just all, here I am, you know what I mean? But at times I didn't feel fully loving to myself, because it's like, that's what I'm saying, it's steps in intimacy. I'm vulnerably honest with you as best that I can, and trust, and we go through trust and loving and caring, and we keep it private, but the deeper we go, as the feedback loop goes, then I can share more, and you can share more, and we can understand more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll give your darkest secret away the first day.
Yeah, exactly. And I used to do that. It used to be like, okay, I'm going to be intimate now, and I'm just going to say everything. And that's not actually like...
Well, it can be okay.
Well, yeah, but it can be, but
but I'm putting myself... Yeah, I'm putting myself in a position to actually maybe not
You didn't create the environment to be intimate. You know what I mean? It's like you're just really like, I don't know how this person's going to take it. You don't know how that person's going to take it. Like, of course,
I just meant
on
the frame that I hope to at some point get as good as you were knowing Grace would be your wife. That's what I mean.
Where you recognize
because I think in your 20s you always pick sort of weird characters in your life to bring in, and then you get older. So what I'm trying to say is like your discernment and your emotional, spiritual, all of your senses at some point mature, that you will get to a point where you could very quickly decide if somebody's probably going to be an intimate or not. Does that make sense?
It's also Rick created that. Meaning in imaginative meditation, which is another video of ours that we're going to be posting. Imagine that you went in ahead of time and created and generated all the feelings in meditation, and then when you came across your partner, I mean, this is the way you described it to me, you recognize the feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I recognize what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing, right? Because the more you know yourself, the more you understand how reality reacts to you. You start realizing, of course, and that always changes too, because you're always taking more responsibility. But there is a cadence, there is a way that things operate, like for me, it's like there's not a lot of middle ground. Either I'm going to create a big fucking badass thing right now, right this minute, or it's going to take me a long time. It's very rare that it's in the middle. It's either boom or it takes me a while. It's just the way it works for me. And the thing is, maybe if I really mattered, I would take it apart and figure out how to shift that. The thing is, after you get more and more responsible for reality, you can't change the entire reality by yourself. You have to just take the things that matter to you one at a time and shift that. You don't have to change. The whole world is screwed up, and if I don't change, if I don't take responsibility for this president and the country and the Syria and Japan and the reactors and the fish and the animals and the Brazilian forest, it's like you're overwhelmed. You can't react to all that. You just pick the one that matters the most and work on that. Because what will happen is, by you shifting that stuff kind of magically, somebody else took care of that. It gets done. It's not like you have to take it all, but at the same time, you can't be afraid of taking it all. It's like maybe I'll just do one at a time and I'll get it all changed. But after a while, you realize it does happen. It's more sophisticated for me now, because a lot of it's magically, like even with Grace, is I knew that if I create the reality the way that I want it to go right now, I'm going to give this person a tremendous gift to tell them right away what I was up to. Because if they stay, if this works out, wow, he told me this was going to be the most amazing relationship in my life, and it is.
And plus, you're being very trusting of yourself.
Yeah, well, and
because I can't even imagine myself doing that with someone right now. You know what I mean?
That's why you have to trust yourself.
Date, I'm going to marry you, or I want to marry you,
and mean it.
Exactly, and mean it, and be like, I'm trusting in what I created here. To me,
but everything you're learning is to get there.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for almost 3 decades. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm more sophisticated in what I'm doing, and there's a lot of times I know that I'm trying, I'm just trying, even knowing. I imagine it's like people who build these beautiful gardens and plant these groves, and they'll never see the majesty of those trees in their lifetime. You take care of those trees for 50 years, and they're oak trees, they're going to be this big, and you're going to be dead.
Oh, right.
Do you know what I mean? It's really going, if I say this and do this now, I could see something really beautiful later, and that's the kind of things I like to do. I like to do things really early and then just keep sanding away. Just keep sanding away till it happens. And, I learned that most of the time everything does happen now. I'm to the point now where I'm not worried about who's for president. I'm not worried about the pollution. I'm not worried about the plastic, because I know all that stuff's going. I'm working on it all underneath, and I'm watching it. For me, I see the reality already doing. Just when people some kid from high school created some machine to clean up the plastic. See, in my world, I'm like, boom, win. I'm winning. It's going in the right direction. I don't have to worry. It's not, nothing's working. You know what I mean? As soon as I see things popping in the reality, then I know I'm intimate enough. I'm intimate enough with that because it's going in the direction I want it to go.
And that response of the worry is, what are we going to do about the pollution and Trump? Oh my God. That's lack of trust, right? Because you
don't trust yourself. You don't trust that you're going to create a reality that is good. But to have
that kind of a startle where something comes in my reality, oh my God, it could be the end, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Trust.
Yeah, of course, I was like that. But then to die and come back made me really understand it. I got nothing to worry about. I'm already put myself back here because I'm going to win.
You got it on a deeper level.
I'm winning in this reality. I already saw it from the outside. I'm going to get everything, and I'm going to do everything I meant to do because I didn't have to come back here again. So it's like, this is just for fun. No matter what that looks like, it's going to get fixed. I'm not worried. I I don't know. I just don't go there anymore. And that's what I mean. It's like I'm trying to give that experience to people. I'm trying to give you a sense that, no, you can do this. Don't worry. You can do it. Because I know that I'm doing it. I know that I'm doing it. Anybody in my reality is going to do it.
Well, I have a question then about, because it's easy for me to relate it to people, right? This process. Like, I know how that works, meaning like to become very intimate with someone, I can see how these steps work in a relationship. But you're also talking about becoming intimate with your reality, intimate with stuff that's not just a person, but out here, right? Or the creation that I want. I mean, you remodel cars and stuff, so you're becoming intimate with your creation on building a car or your artwork. You do paintings, that kind of intimacy. How does that play out? Meaning, is because it's not a relationship where someone's going to actually speak back to me in feedback, but I'm going to still receive feedback.
Well, because the end result is still, it's like to be intimate with the truck. It's like, yeah, you know, it's like, this is one of the first cars ever that I even have pictures of the process. I mean, I used to have a photo album of cars on the tow truck leaving. And
but not you during the whole...
I was into my own thing, the whole thing. I didn't feel like sharing it. I didn't want to, like, Grace, like, oh, you should GoPro what you're doing with this art. And there's a part of me that doesn't really want. I like being here. I don't want everybody watching every moment I'm doing.
Yeah.
I just don't know why, but I know that I like my process. You know, I like what I'm doing. So even though I'm intimate with the car, you know, I have this vision of the end result, what that car's, what the truck's going to look like. And, you know, it's like, and I get excited. That's why I get super into it. Now I've been on like lockdown for 3 months.
So then the first step, though, is openness.
Yeah.
So when you're first starting a project, say it's a painting, that's the openness. It's a blank canvas. I'm going to be open to receive. Exactly. How do I want this to go? Like,
well, how do I want it to feel when it's done? What are the feelings I want?
So you start seeing, I see it cherry red, or I see it with chrome, or whatever it is that
exactly.
Right?
It's like, if this thing's going to be a feeling, like I want to feel like I did something new. I want to feel like I did something, you know, original. I want to feel like I did something that's poignant to where I am right now, you know. And then a lot of times, I mean, some of my paintings I thought a lot about, and some of them I didn't think anything about. Like that one there, I literally didn't know anything what that was going to look like. I just started drawing.
So you're just open. And
like that one, I totally knew what I was doing from the moment I started that. I know what this one's going to be. This is, you know, 369, 33, blah, blah, blah. I knew what that one was going to be.
And then those steps are moving you closer, right? Because once you start narrowing it, it's like, oh, maybe I'll do it like this. Is that right?
Yeah, well,
you're
exactly.
Getting closer
now
to
I'm
your
feeling
creation.
more of it. I start saying, ooh, this is cool. I see what I was trying to do here. I see what I'm trying to say. I see what I'm doing, you know, and then I get into it more, and then I start putting metaphorical things in there. That's why I like abstract art, because I can do anything I want to.
Yeah.
And in the end, it's a process, a visual process.
So then, vulnerably honest, though, how does that step work in that? It's being honest with yourself about
that's why I don't tell people, for instance, vulnerably honest is, I have to know that I said it. If I don't say it, I do another layer. That's not quite what I want to say, and then I paint another layer.
Oh, I see. Be honest with yourself.
Yeah, like this is not quite what it doesn't feel right. You know, and then that's why I say I'm really torn. I don't want to tell people what's in the paintings. You know, like I have some.
Oh, so you're holding privacy
exactly.
at the end of what you're doing.
I want mystery. I want the mystery in the painting, because I want them to be interested and not have the answer. I'm not going to give them the answer.
So you're very deeply intimate with your painting by the end of it, because you've decided, I'm not going to give you the whole.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you everything.
Out the whole
That's
thing.
why I layer the painting. Some layers don't show.
Yeah.
Some layers you don't see. I mean, I'll know when I paint. Like, you know, see the baby blue in the outside edges. You see the same color kind of on the outside. That's a whole painting that you don't see anywhere else.
I'm going to have to show this painting. We'll show it.
But like even in the black stripes, if you look close, there's a little yellow tiny stripe in the middle. That's another thing in the background. But there's the tiniest bit. Some people may not ever notice there's a little stripe in there. But it's like, I know what's under there, you know. And sometimes, like, well, it's not here. It's at the studio. But I have another one that I did take some pictures. There's some pictures that I took of stages of me painting, that when you look at it, you can't find that painting in there. You can't find it. I can't find it. And I'm like, but I know it's there. You know what I mean? And there's a resonance there. There's an energy there. But it's like, you know, trusting myself. And trusting this is going to be badass when I'm done. I don't know what I'm doing. I trust myself.
Being honest with yourself so you can hone it, right? And then you're trusting yourself because you're trusting the decisions that I'm making to hone the craft. And then the next step is loving. So then once you've got a feeling, oh, this is dope, I'm liking it, now you're loving it, right? And just bear with me on this. Then the next one is caring. Now you're going to really be caring for it. And this, we're using a piece of art as an example. So that would be the final details, right?
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons I do the frames. That one I don't have one on yet. But I make my own frames. I do everything. And I do frames special for the people.
And what is your tagline? Love is in the details.
Yeah. Oh, so
exactly.
in the final details, becoming more loving, more caring. And then you chose at the end with the painting to not reveal it all, but to keep that private, keep your process private, because now you're just like happy with your creation. And then you start over.
And by the way, there's a dog and a baby that's been walking around, so I'm not.
This is really exciting, though. Now I understand too, because I'm creative. I love to create art. I love to create stuff, and to actually follow through the process of intimacy.
Even with your dog, even the dog and the cat, I do the same thing. I really try to be intimate with them. It's like funny. Like sometimes there's little things that I know. I have little things with Kayla that Grace doesn't know what we do. You know what I mean? It's like
between you two.
Yeah, it's just cool. Us. Yeah. It's just my little thing.
Because it makes it significant. It's like, it's cool.
I have something to add on intimacy. I'm trying to remember what was that. But I was just gonna add, because like my whole life, I think something that was so important for me was relationships and like finding a partner and that kind of thing. And so once you understand the process of intimacy, maybe not 100% of the time, but what people are really going for is intimacy. And once you know how to go for that, then you'll see really what you need or want. Because my desire for a partner and that kind of thing is really it's just not important to me anymore. But you've always said it's because I was going for intimacy. And now I know how to go for intimacy. I know how to have it. And so I no longer have that longing for that person, because it's actually intimacy I wanted, and it's here now.
Yeah.
So I think that would help a lot of people, because a lot of people, not just women, there's a sense of incompleteness, right, that they speak of unless they have their partner or their husband or their family. And if they knew how to go for intimacy,
my other half.
Yeah, and if you really knew how to be intimate with people,
you create
in
your
life,
other half.
Yeah. Really, you'll realize it's not that.
That's such a good point to bring up too, because it's like you're wanting to feel, at least for me anyway, I've felt lonely in my life and alone, and I think a lot of people do this. Even you could have a full-on family and still feel lonely.
You could be married and be super lonely.
Yeah, exactly. You can have tons of friends but still be lonely. Are they real friends? And so that's what it's like when you're learning. This is why I'm excited about the whole art thing, because when you start become just intimate with even your art, like that's why the feeling I'm getting from it is like, oh, then that's the connection I'm creating. The loneliness coming out of lack of connection is actually just the lack of intimacy with all of my reality, because I've somehow separated from things, right? If there's anything in my reality I'm like separating from, that's where there's a divide and loneliness starts showing up. But if I'm willing to be intimate and follow all the process with all the things that I want to create in my reality, I'll start to feel that more connectedness, but it's starting with me. I'm building the connections with everything in my reality, not needing you to connect with me. And it's your fault that I'm feeling lonely, right? So anyway, that's really cool.
Even that comment is very interesting, because I mean, how many people go out every weekend? How many people are like, matching on Tinder 10 times a day? They have a big social life. Most of those people that I've seen, there's a lot of loneliness. I mean, they do not look like they're having a good time. It's just like they're just getting a hit of something, but then it's like, to take stock of that. If you have any of those tendencies at all, I don't know what to do with taking stock of it, but, notice it and recognize that if you're doing all these things that are supposedly supposed to be making you feel close and connected and social, is it? Like,
well, that's why I was talking about that sex. If you go out and have sex and you just really want to have sex, go enjoy sex. Don't go for intimacy. And the way you know that is if in the morning I feel lonely and I feel empty and my one-liners, I never do one-liners because, I feel awful. But that's because you're going after intimacy and you can't get intimacy. You can't get intimacy as someone I don't know, that I don't trust, that I don't know. You can get sex and that's fine, but if you're going for intimacy, you'll feel empty the next day. And that's how you know. If I feel empty, I wasn't going for the right thing.
Yeah, definitely have had those.
I know, I didn't want to volunteer you tribute, but I was
definitely had some of those.
Not many for me. I know it's really clear.
You're teaching me how to do that.
Like, peace out. Thank you very much.
Cool. I don't got anything really else to add? Anything else you want to say?
Well, I'll just add lastly, because we've been on a few videos now. This is Conscious Reality Creator, the channel. We're the three that are a part of making it. And we, by your lead in asking, like, he asked us if he could become more intimate with us, to love us more. And that really set this whole thing off. At some point, I actually do want to make a video where we tell you about the origin of this channel, how it came to be. Because it really is such a beautiful story of intimacy and love that it's not just something we're talking about like, oh, I'm loving you, you're like my spiritual family. Like, we mean it based on the process that he's taught for us to take it seriously, that when we say, like, I'm choosing to love you, it's not an empty word that we're throwing around.
Yeah.
No,
it's a challenging experience at times.
Yeah, exactly. And that's such a good point, too, that you bring that up, the challenging experience at times, because this has definitely been a challenge for me at times. And that's okay, meaning, like, I think a lot of the time we watch YouTube videos. I know I've done this. You watch a YouTube person and they're talking about spirituality, and then you build this idea in your mind that, oh, this spiritual person, they just got it figured out, and why can't I be like that? It's like, what we're saying is, no, it's always a process. You're working through it like we're working through it with each other. We're always adjusting and figuring things out, and when things aren't quite rubbing right, we come together and talk about it. So it's not, there's no perfect flow in that we're just spiritual people and we're doing it. We're working through it, and we have all of our own stuff that we're doing. And so
I think it's the artist who allows their life to show. It's like you want it to show.
Yeah.
It's like this. What you were talking about a minute ago, for me, was about being more intimate. I realized if people are just paying me to do this for them for 3 months, where is my life going to get richer? I just kept having a relationship, and I think all my clients love me and still talk to me, but on the other hand, I wanted it to go deeper. I wanted my own growing to go deeper. I wanted the impact to go deeper, and the only way it was going to go deeper was more intimacy. And it was either like, well, I have to figure out a way for you to pay me for the rest of your life.
Do you smell
I'm dying
Who
over
farted?
here. I know, I think the dog farted or something.
Wow.
There is a stank in here that's so fucking bad right now.
I think that the dog farted.
I almost gagged for a
I
minute.
know.
It's probably, it's Predator.
Oh
Predator's the one. Yeah, see him? He just got out of litter box.
the cat doesn't like intimacy.
That's
He's got
so
the stinkiest
bad.
poop of all.
Oh my god.
Saying something?
You were
about
talking about how you
Oh.
have these clients, but you want to get closer.
Yeah, I couldn't. Even my own spirituality, in order for it to grow, needs more intimacy. I have my wife, I'm intimate. I have my boy, I'm intimate. I have my pets. And here's something I think is very important to understand. You cannot be intimate with lots of people. Because if you're going to do this, if you're going to be open and vulnerably honest and trusting and caring and loving and that takes time. Like, you don't talk to somebody once every 2 weeks and you're intimate with them, because their whole life's different. You didn't see the progression because you weren't part of it. So you have to be discerning.
Yeah.
You have to say, oh, and it's slowly. Like, slowly I'm getting better at being intimate so I can handle more people, but I really don't feel like anybody, no matter how good you are, I don't think you can have more than 5 or 6 intimate people in your life. It's either you're going to have 5 or 6 intimate people and they're going to take up all the space in your life, or you're going to have 2 intimate people, and maybe I've got 15 friends because I have 2 intimate, right? And maybe I have 100 acquaintances. It's like you're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to be intimate because of the interacting that takes to do that. Yeah. And so even me, it's like I noticed just doing the truck right now overwhelmed me. Like, I'm realizing I'm not being as close. I'm not being, just because I took on the truck, it just pushed me over the top.
You mean you were trying to get through it more so?
Yeah, I'm trying to concentrate on that. It takes a lot of hours to restore a vehicle. And I don't want it to take a year, but what it did, I had to focus down, and I realized lots of things have been suffering in the 3 months that I've been working on the truck.
On the truck, yeah.
Yeah. And, but it's you cannot, because a lot of people, I have 15 intimate friends. All my friends are intimate. It's no, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
You're not being intimate. There's no way. There's no way. there's no way, because you want to talk. How are you today? How was your day today? Or what have you been doing?
It's a full-time job, a job you love, but it's full-time.
It is.
And most people are doing something for money. Most people are doing something for themselves that doesn't involve other people. So when you tally that all up, I keep thinking, like, how many hours in a day are there? Like, that's what I mean about this whole, you only need certain amount, not need, can only service a
but
certain
also
amount
you
of
can't make
relationships.
everything as significant as everything else.
Yeah.
This idea that, it's all no, like, you choose what's significant.
Yeah.
So it has more significance for you, so it's special.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I like the word special.
Yeah. It's just, you have to be discerning. And I just knew that I had gotten to the point where my family life is smooth, I'm intimate, everything was going so good. I just wanted to take on more. I wanted more, so I decided to open the door. I said, okay, why don't you guys... I think that was discerning, because I took my clients that had an affinity for this, that knew how to be close, wanted to be close, and that way I just opened the door for it to be more elegant, because I feel like it takes a lot more time for me to try to be intimate with, let's just say, normal, everyday people, because I'm way more discerning about who's going to know about me sharing this. You know what I mean? There's so many things I could talk about. I'm not going to talk about everything on here. There's lots of things I'm not going to talk about. But at the same time, it's like I'm trying to figure out, like, how to be more vulnerable, how to be more honest, how to be more open.
Yeah.
And it has to be more real now. I just can't do it with anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, and then I could do it with anybody, but I'm not preferring that.
Yeah,
I want to do it with people that are kicking ass.
Yeah.
I want people that are like, no, I want what you want. Okay, then let's do this. And it's more exciting to me. So the intimacy is more fun now, because I'm like, it's the difference between being in AAA and being in the game. You know what I mean? It's like, if I have my choice of anybody, I'd be picking somebody that's playing the game, not a AAA person. Even though AAA, nothing wrong with people in AAA. They're fantastic athletes, but they're not in the game. At this point, I'm not picking any AAA people anymore.
AAA? They're just on the bench or something? They're benched?
It's like the backup team.
Oh.
Every professional team has, like, they have a whole team.
They, like, want to play, but they're just not good
like
yet.
a baseball team will have a AAA team.
Practice squad.
And they're like the up-and-comers. They're all and they're all, like, fighting it out in their own league to go up to the big leagues. So the baseball people do it that way.
Gotcha.
So now I'm like, I don't need to pick from that anymore. If I'm going to pick, I may as well pick the best players. And I'm just to the point now where I'm just dealing with the best. The best in my reality,
Nice. Yeah.
And that's why I'm demanding, and that's why I push. I push the people that are in my life. I'm not screwing around. My Facebook page, it says, if you want to be my friend, bring your A game. That's what it says, because I'm not screwing around. I'm not pulling punches. I'm not being an asshole, but I'm definitely not playing around. I'm like, what do you got? What do you got? Well, let's do this. And that way I know if somebody I want to engage in them. It's like I know right away. I say what I want as soon as I want it. And then I watch what reality does. And then I make the adjustments. You want to get into it. And, all these ways, all these little videos are ways for you to get in somewhere, to get into it and get into it in a new way. Because until you're intimate, until you're imagining, until you start trusting, there's all these things have to happen, but people don't really know how to do it.
Yeah.
So we'll just try to do it this way and see what happens.
Yeah.
Right on.
Thanks for watching our couch series.
Yeah.
I wanted to name it Couch Series. We'll call it the Rambling Couch.
Ramble series.
Hopefully you like our rambles.
Anything else to say? I'll just say check out our channel. Keep watching our videos if you're liking them. Let us know too. Like, we want more.
Yeah, be more intimate with us.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Hit us up. Say what, if you have any questions, any thoughts, or anything you want to add. We do Q&A videos.
It's really easy to ask a question. You don't even know what you look like. We don't know anything about you. It's just the first step to intimacy.
Mm-hmm. We're being open.
Yeah. Be open.
All right.
Try it.
All right. Thanks for watching our channel and this video. We'll see you next time.